Good afternoon, and we're here now at Sbarro. I'm Errol Francis Carmelo, and this is Gerald Pasqua, Jed Soriano, Gary Lidl, and here we are to interview Sir Elisa. Okay, good afternoon to you, sir. My first question to you, sir, is as a manager, what is a department, unit, or office that you are managing?
Okay. For our group, I'm the operations manager. I'm handling the operations of the 8 stores. Under me are around 8 store managers and around 34 assistant store managers.
So, what is the role of this office?
Well, actually, the operations department is the managing department of the company. It runs the stores. It deals with the guests, the suppliers, and this is, as if you like to compare it with the human body, this is the heart of the company.
So, sir, my second question to you is, do you report to another manager?
Yeah. I directly report to the director for operations, who is actually the son of the owner. So we have a very thin line of management. After the owners, it's a family corporation. After the owners, it's a family. As we always say, there's a very thin line of management levels. There are no other AVPs or VPs or don't have that.
And you also manage other lower managers?
Yeah. As I've said, under me are 8 store managers. In August, I think we will have 9 stores already. But there are 2 groups of Sbarros operating in the Philippines. I am under the Rodriguez group. There's another group that's operating another group.
We learned from our class that a manager performs 4 functions. These are planning, organizing, leading, and controlling. Can you give us some specific examples of how you as a manager performs these functions?
Okay. Those 4 major functions, PIOC as we call them, are the 4 major functions as defined by management. Planning, as for me, well, this is the most extensive part of management. It starts with planning. It's just like you're an architect. You plan, you conceptualize from an idea or from a concept, from the start up to the finished product. So sometimes planning, as they say, is most passive function because there's no much physical thing to it. But it all starts with planning. Then after you have planned, of course, you organize what you have planned, whatever it is. You organize it into separate entities. And as a manager, of course, you're also a leader. So you have to lead your people, your subordinates. Then part of that is controlling, which is also part of the monitoring, whether it's a success or it's a failure, whatever outcome or results you get from it. So as for my part, well, the planning, a basic example is, let's say you plan for next year. Whatever you like to achieve for next year, let's say you like to open up new stores, you like to introduce new products, you like to hire additional people. Of course, part of the planning is that you get to have your objectives for the next year. What are your targets? Let's say for next year, example of that is that you like to achieve additional 20% of sales over what you have this year. Then you'll have to make some plans, action plans on how to achieve it. After you've done you've done the planning, then you have to organize this into different sets of action plans. Like who does this, what department does this, who is in charge of that. That's part of the organizing. Then part of the organizing also is that you have to spread it into a year. So what do you like to achieve on the first quarter, what do you like to achieve on the second quarter, and up to the last quarter. So that's, well, simple example of organizing. Then when you have organized, of course, because we are in the people business, you'll have to lead your people. Be an example for them. As I've said, if you're a manager, your subordinates will look up to you, whether they are from the low rank up to the higher levels of managers. So you have to lead them. Then, after that, you control. Because without control, of course, it will be hard for the managers. So part of the controlling is you monitor the procedures, you monitor the results. Are we getting to what we are, what we like, where we like to go? So that's part. There are a lot of information you can work on to check if you are getting into the level you want to reach, let's say at this part of the year.
And what among these functions do you spend more time performing?
Well, each of these functions actually have a different span. I mean, the length of time you spend into it very different. Let's say planning will take a lot of time. And apart from that, these four functions have different stages when you do it. So the first is you plan. For me, sometimes people think that it's the easiest, but actually it's the hardest. Because it is where you actually, from a simple idea, from a simple concept on how you like it to be materialized in the future, it starts there. Sometimes people just look up as if he is daydreaming, but actually he's already planning. And part of planning is that you write down notes, whether it's on a piece of paper, whether it's on a piece of tissue or napkin, that's part of planning. Then there's also the formal side of planning. After you have the concept ready, after you have the idea, you turn it into a formal report. Well, whether if it's the kind of procedure we have in the company. But planning, it's the most passive. But for me, I think that's the most challenging part. It's not actually the hardest, but it's the challenging part. Once you have already the plan or the concept within you, then the other three functions, which is leading, organizing, and controlling, comes into play. After you have formalized the plan, just like an architect does, 100% of the work, if you're an architect, 100% of the work goes through you. It's not the civil engineer, it's not the sanitary engineer, it's not the interior decorator, it's not the landscape architect, but the architect of the building of the house. 100% of the job is his. And that's the only time that after he has done the plan, he gives it, distributes it. You're the civil engineer, this is your job. You're the sanitary engineer, this is your job. You're the electrical engineer, this is part of your job. So that's organizing. Then, of course, as the process goes on, you have to control. Otherwise, you will not have people being loose cannons moving their own ways. You have to control over them. But controlling is a very tricky job for a manager because you are dealing with people. And people have emotions. They are not devices or anything that you can just push on. So that's the most challenging part. You hold the person or a group of people too tight, surely they will try to get away. You hold them too loosely, they will have their own way. So management is just like an art and a science put into it. You will have to be an artist, you will have to be a technical guy. Then controlling, monitoring is part of that. As I've said, this is what we like to achieve, are we getting there? Based on the information we have, based on the charts we have, based on the graphs we have, are we getting into that location or position you want to be.